up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at Wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop, located at 5001 O Street.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Stars broadcaster Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What is up, everybody? How's everybody doing outside the box? This is episode 4 already, Rocky. Let's start the show off like that. I'm Cristiano Simonetta. So glad you joined us to play voice of the Lincoln Stars, joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo. Rocky, you've got your coffee. The place was open.
Shout out to Rock and Joe.
Okay.
Off of 84th Street. They are not a sponsor, but they are getting a big time shout out tonight because they are always there for me when I need my evening Joe. So thank you to Rock and Joe.
What's the order that you get tonight?
Tonight was just nice and simple. Just a medium roast with one Splenda. I'm usually an Americano guy though, and I was cutting it a little close leaving the house, and I figured they could just pour me a coffee a little bit quicker than make me the Americano. So I went with the coffee tonight, but just enough to keep me up until it's time for bed later. I got some work to do. I'm sure I've got some baby duty. And then hopefully I can make it till like 11 o'clock before passing out.
Is your Christmas shopping all done? You still got to work on that.
You know what? I've got a few things to get my wife, but fortunately we kind of just did one big gift for each other. And so I've just got to fill her stocking a little bit. I've got a few things there. She is a godsend, as we've discussed every week so far, and she's handled the majority of the ordering for the kids, aside from what Santa brings, obviously. Whatever Santa brings, we'll see there. But she took care of that, and we did talk about it. So I'm not a completely absentee father. I was a part of the process with at least the gift decision making, but she handled the heavy lifting there.
Are you a big gift guy? Do you like this time of the year?
I love Christmas, and it's not because of the gifts. I just love, since I was little, Christmas Eve was always such a big deal in my family. Christmas Eve more than Christmas Day. Like we do the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and my dad and I used to hop in the car at like 8:30 in the morning and do our rounds around town, and he made homemade wine and biscottis, and so we would visit all kinds of different people, and we'd stop and we'd drop off a bottle of wine and a little called a dookie bag of biscottis, and just get to catch up with some people that we don't see all the time, and that was always what I look forward to the most. We'd go back to the house, fire up the deal out in the garage and start frying up some smelts. He'd get cooking in the garage or in the house, and everybody would come over. It was just, Christmas Eve was the best. We'd go to midnight mass, and then, Christmas Day was kind of just open some gifts and lay low until dinner at my uncle's house. So things change when you lose family members. And so we try to rally around keeping some of those traditions alive. And my wife and I are going to stay here in Lincoln this year and kind of start making some of our own traditions with our family. How about you?
Just for me, you just mentioned it. When you get older and you've got that family, for us, it's always the Christmas Eve at my Nana Papa's house. My Papa passed away a couple of years ago, and kind of while this was all going on, not related to COVID. So that's obviously been tough, and didn't get to celebrate it last year because we were in the middle of the season. Everybody stayed here, so I wasn't going to, not that it would really matter too much, but we got to have a Secret Santa as a team last year.
I heard that, which is cool.
It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun, everybody being away from their families, especially some of these guys at, 16 to 20 years old, not being able to go back. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going back home to Chicago, in December. And it's actually just a couple weeks away. It's crazy how we've flown by already, almost 3 months into the regular season here, but it's always just fun to go back home and see some people, especially my friends from college and that I've grown up with. Producer Ethan, what about you? Are you a excellent rapper? You strike me as a guy who can wrap a really good gift. And for me, I've struggled with that growing up.
I can't say that I've ever really tried to
So
wrap
you're
a
like
gift.
a little like a gift box, you're a cop out in that way, or
I'll
you
get
try
a
and fail?
bag and throw the
There
tissue
you go.
paper in there, and then if it's a gift that needs wrapping, I will take it home and I'll say, "Hey, Mom, these need to be wrapped."
So you had the little like, all right, Mom, got all these gifts, bringing them home. I'll help you out, and then 2 hours later, she'll just take care of them and wrap them up.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll set them in the wrapping, the room that she takes over for wrapping, and they just magically show up with the "from me" sticker on there. So
I mean, that's pretty good. You can still rely on Mom for that. I like wrapping gifts, actually. My wife is a perfectionist when it comes to that stuff, so I will wrap it, and then on occasion she may rewrap it, and then I just decide not to wrap it anymore. But I think I do pretty good. I'd say probably 9 out of 10 she gives me the thumbs up for. So my creases aren't as perfect and tight as maybe they should be, but I think that part of it is wrapped out of love, and I enjoy that. And so I always more than anything, I like watching the kids open their gifts. I've got a lot of nieces and nephews, and that's going to be the one thing I miss the most this year is not being around them for Christmas. But my older daughter is now old enough that she knows Santa's coming. We've got a calendar at home where she gets to move the candy cane every day that we get a day closer to Christmas, and she's getting pretty jazzed up about it. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching her on Christmas morning.
I wonder what they have now, because when I was younger, I was born in 96. So when I was younger, they had that Santa tracker online. You were able to kind of see where Santa was at during the night. Do they have something now for Ronnie?
I'm sure they still
an
have
app
that.
on
When
your phone?
I was younger, I was born significantly before you. We would wait until the 11 o'clock news, and then they would tell you where Santa was. There was no internet at the time. So they would tell you where Santa was. And then my mom and dad would be like, "Oh, you better get to bed. He's going to be here soon. If you're still awake when he gets here, no presents for you." So me and my 3 sisters would shuffle off to bed, and but that's how we had the Santa tracker. Now you youngins got to follow it on the app. I'm sure we'll be doing that with my daughter, but definitely a little bit of a different experience.
Did you have any close run-ins with Santa Claus during the night?
I did one time. I got about halfway down the steps, and my mom was like, "Hey," she caught me. My dad was, I think my dad and Santa were hanging out a little bit. We always leave pepperoni and cheese and crackers and wine for Santa. And then you also leave him some cookies and milk, but he never really messed with the cookies and milk. I think everybody else leaves him cookies and milk, and he appreciated the wine and the pepperoni and the cheese at our house. And so I think my dad and the big guy were splitting a glass of wine when I was going down the stairs at that time. And my mom caught me, made sure I got upstairs before I had any run-ins with Santa. I appreciate that because I'm glad I got some good gifts that year.
We'll talk about some of our other promotions for this weekend, but December 17th at the Icebox, Mr. and Mrs. Claus are coming. So what, are you going to break out a bottle of red wine for them now?
I absolutely think that I will. And, everybody wants to give them cookies and milk, and I'm sure the big guy appreciates that. But, my dad told us when he was younger that they always left that at his house when he was a kid, and so we will be doing that in my home as well. And my wife kind of just laughed at me and said, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. So I'm sure we'll leave a cookie and some milk too, and my wife can help Santa polish that off, and I'll help Santa polish off the wine and the pepperoni and cheese.
Ethan, so is Christmas one of your favorite holidays too? I love Christmas. I think it's the best holiday, some of the best movies in my opinion. So are we going to make it 3 for 3?
I mean, yeah, Christmas is a joyous time, but it's also my brother's birthday. So
Christmas?
Right on Christmas? Yes. Man, did he get hosed.
Selfish.
Oh yeah, I know. So it only the morning of Christmas, because after afternoon, then it becomes his birthday. And so that's just forgettable. Does he get separate gifts? Because I've got a nephew that was born right after, or is everybody like, oh, this is your Christmas and your birthday gift? Because that's bad.
That's soft.
Well, yeah. Santa only gives Christmas presents,
of course,
and so you get the Christmas presents from Santa, and then there's some people that try and combine them. But
yeah, I mean, family members and what have you. I mean,
It's just completely random each year. Sometimes he would ask specifically for some things to be combined so that he could get something bigger.
There you go. See, now he's playing. Yeah, he's playing the odds there. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, my mom was born on the 17th, so when I was younger, I double dip with here's a birthday.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh wow,
here's this bird feeder I made at school, and this counts as both your gifts. Your mom's like, gee, thanks, Cristiano.
Yeah, no, I bet she's listening in and nodding her head continuously. This is not a Christmas show, but it's December 7th, and we're talking about the Lincoln Stars in December, and you guys are still doing very well. 11 wins on the season. If we look back to last year, we'd be talking about a very different record for you guys. You split the weekend. Let's talk about that Friday game at the Icebox against Sioux City, a 5-1 win for you guys. Didn't really start off the way I know you would hope for, Rocky, in terms of the play on the ice, but it's 2-0 after one period. What stood out to you the most?
You know what? We did not have a good first period, but we get a 2-on-1 and a goal there from Lucas Wallen, and then we get a great pass from Tomps over to Mr. Kaboom himself, our captain Dalton Norris, who just keeps burying pucks from that side of the ice. And talk about big goal after big goal for Daltz. But I told the guys at the end of the first period, like, hey, we didn't play well, and we still managed to come out of that 2-0. So let's not be complacent now. Let's not think that just because we have a lead that we're playing good hockey. We really need to refocus and get back to playing the way that we're supposed to.
That Royal Road pass that Thompson makes across in between the two circles, studies show and statistics show that once you make that successful pass, the odds of scoring are greater. You guys have, put that into that top power play group all season long. And when it's Norris at the right circle or Thompson at the left circle, you guys have seemed to, put more pucks on the back of the net. Was that always a structure that jumped out to you during camp when you saw that possible combination?
Well, George and I like to run downhill routes. And so what I mean by that is Thompson's on his strong side. And traditionally, when you used to set up an umbrella power play or a 1-3-1 power play, that would be with guys on their offsides just hitting one-timers. And so with Thompson on his strong side going downhill, it allows him to be a threat to pass the puck to the goal line, to pass the puck to the bumper, we call it, who Luke Johnson plays in that spot on that power play, to shoot it, to bump it back to the top guy, usually Joe LeMay. Right now it's been Mastro, and of course seam that puck. So it gives you more options. And then, sometimes you run a double downhill. Sometimes you have a downhill on one side and a one-timer on the other. We obviously have opted to have a one-timer on the backside because Daltz is pretty special at that. And, it's given us a number of different looks. And what's best about it is we're not one-dimensional. No. And so, we haven't just lived and died off that one-timer. We're able to pop Johnson high in the bumper and give him some shots. He scored some goals from the middle of the ice there. We're able to get the puck down to the goal line and create some goal line attacks. We're able to bump it back to the top guy for some shots from the middle of the ice. Joe scored from there. So you can't just stand over there on Daltz and take him away, because we're able to look at some other options.
I know you jokingly called him Alex Ovechkin, but now it's got to be a little more serious as this has been going on here. He leads defenseman in power play goals, just a couple behind the league lead, and defenses think that they can stop that. But like you said, when you have Thompson, Mastro at the deep slot, Johnson the bumper, Laba the goal line, it's tough to really defend.
Well, and the good part is when they do jump into his shooting lane, he can seam that back over to Thompson, or we can push Johnson down to the goal line, and then you can pop Laba up into the hole, and you can send Thompson back door. And so, there's a number of different looks that make it very threatening. And I mean, the way he shoots it, most guys, yeah, they'll jump in front of it once or twice, but they don't want to get in front of that. And I had a kid a couple years ago in Amarillo by the name of Brenda Dadema that had 22 goals, literally standing on the Ovechkin spot as a right shot, just pounding one-timers, 6'4" defenseman. And, Daltz is a little bit different. He doesn't shoot it as heavy as Brendan did, but Daltz can shoot it from a bunch of different spots. And, if it's a bad pass, he can get his feet around it. He can attack the net and kind of get that pass in motion, where he just stood there like a statue and smashed it. And he had as good of a shot as I've ever seen. Daltz is just a little bit more innovative with the way that he gets pucks to the net, but he manages to find a way night in and night out.
And it wasn't the last time we talked about Aiden Thompson on Friday night. He has that assist, but then in the third period, after allowing a goal in the second period, it's a goal scorer's goal from Thompson. Skate right, shoot left, use the defender as a screen from the right circle. I mean, that was one of the prettier goals for me that stands out because you can have the individual deke move going through a crowd, but those type of goals you're always going to marvel at.
Well, and we talk about having depth to our zone entries, and that shot was created by Jarecki carrying the puck in the zone, leaving it for Thompson on a takeover, and then pushing their strong side deep back, which created some space for Toms. He's able to underhandle it, push it to the middle, go far post and in. It was a great shot, and you know, Toms obviously he's been a big point producer for us, but he hasn't been a big goal scorer to this point. So for him to get one, I know it felt good, and I know that he's capable, and I think he's going to score some really big goals for us this year, and that was just one example of it.
And then Gleb Veremyev scores an empty net goal at the end of the game, and then he gets tossed a couple minutes later with a 10-minute misconduct. For me, I didn't see the play live because
it wasn't even a couple minutes later. It was a couple seconds later.
Yeah, it was right after, and it's weird when it's an empty net goal, and then we're talking about the goalie that wasn't even on the ice, apparently bumping into Gleb. What was your take on that play?
Well, Gleb is scary because he's big, and you know, Gleb scores an empty net goal. Their goalie's on the bench. So I don't buy the idea that Gleb ran into their goalie, because Gleb scored the goal, celebrated with his teammates. Their goalie got on the ice and somehow managed to find his way to Gleb.
Yeah, because he's at the other side.
Correct. So to me, it is what it is. The referee, who I actually thought did a good job that game for the most part. He's one of the guys I have a lot of respect for in this league. Basically said it was a, hey, I'm going to manage this situation type of call. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. But these 10-minute misconducts, you know, they aren't just throwaway penalties. And we need to make sure that if we're giving those out, they're warranted. And I didn't particularly think that one was, but it is what it is.
You're 3-0 against Sioux City this season. You think there's a reason why you guys match up with them so well?
You know what? I think that we've been able to defend them fairly well. I think they're very talented, obviously, but we've been able to defend them fairly well. They want to stretch. We've been able to keep them in front of us for the most part. You know, they had some stretches in the second period where they generated some good offense, and we had obviously Caden playing outstanding for us in the net, and then, you know, we're able to score some timely goals, and then from that point on, we kept their power play off the scoreboard, which is how they've scored on us for the most part this year. As good as our penalty kill is, like, we still managed to give a couple power play goals up, and we also tend to be on the kill more than a lot of teams. And I have my theories on that, and it's not all because we take bad penalties, because that's not true. We do take some, but I don't think we get the benefit of the doubt that some other teams do.
Yeah, it's my third season here, and unfortunately, I just kind of have come to know that, look, they're just going to call a lot of things on the Lincoln Stars, and you just kind of power through it and keep going. I know that's your message for them when you're coaching these kids. If something doesn't go your way, yes, you can yell at the officials, and yes, you can lose your temper, but at the end of the day, kill it off, move on, and keep going. Well,
we talk about spending positive energy on the things that we can control, and you know, our players have a pretty good understanding of the fact that there is time when I'll raise my voice at the officials, but I'm doing it for a purpose. I'm not doing it just to blow off steam. I'm doing it to try to make him understand that, hey, I disagree with that call, and you know, you need to go take another peek at it. And I think normally it will get you a call later in the game. And, you know, when we fast forward to what I thought was a debacle of an officiated game on Saturday, you know, they got a ton of power plays early, and then we got our fair share during that stretch in the second, the beginning of the third, and they did a better job of capitalizing on their power plays than we did. And ultimately, you know, as much as I disagreed with the way the game was officiated, at the end of the day, you know, we had 5 in a row that were full 2-minute penalties. The other 3 were 13 seconds, 8 seconds, 12 seconds, but those 5 were full 2-minute penalties that we had more than enough opportunity to give ourselves back into that game.
Yeah, before we get to that Tri-City Storm game on the Saturday, our trivia question of the week, because Lucas Wallen scored twice on that Saturday game against Tri-City, he almost had a hat trick. Who was the last player to score a hat trick at the Icebox. There was one last year. Who was it? Text us at 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. You can win a family 4-pack to one of the games this weekend, Friday or Saturday. Let us know. Once again, that text line, 402-464-5685. The last player to score a hat trick at the Icebox, Lincoln Stars player. Do you have any ideas?
Couldn't even begin to guess.
And that's why I asked you. I don't want you giving that answer away. These 4-packs, look, they don't come cheap. But Rocky, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And this has been such a fun time for me because we talk a lot. Coaches' comments, press conferences on Tuesday. Are you getting a little sick of interacting with me? You could be honest.
I missed my press conference today, didn't I?
You did, but
I was very busy, and we're obviously banged up a little bit right now, and we've got some suspensions, and there's just a lot of mess on our hands, and so I had some work to do, and I didn't get to that press conference. I'm sure we can catch up and do that tomorrow, but no, I'm enjoying this because obviously, after the games, before the games, we're talking strictly about that game, strictly about the nuts and bolts of that game, and obviously we're doing that to a point here, but I like the fact that we can veer off topic a little bit and talk about some other things. I'm very interested to hear what Ethan has to think about Adrian Martinez putting his name into the transfer portal, the quarterback of the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Go ahead.
I'm a huge Adrian fan, actually.
You know what? I told you I was at that game a couple weeks ago, and I was very, very impressed by him against Ohio State.
I think he handles himself very well, and I don't think there could have been a better quarterback that Nebraska could have had to bring in a new coach. And for the last 4 years, just for everything he does outside of the game, I guess. Every time he does a post-game press conference, I'm impressed with his poise and just the way he handles being the quarterback of a major Power 5 university. So I'm, sad. It was probably time. I did text my roommates when Smothers had a good game against Iowa for the first half. I said, it's probably his team now, and I don't think Adrian's going to come back. So it needed to happen. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm excited to see what comes next for the quarterback position at Nebraska.
Do you think they go into the portal and try to bring a quarterback in, or do you think they're happy with the guy they have and they'll just groom a freshman?
I think they're definitely going to explore their options in the portal, and I think they would prefer to get one of the big names that is in there right now. But I also think they'd be confident rolling with Logan Smothers.
Do you think if he doesn't have a good first half to that game and they control the first half of that Iowa game, that maybe we're talking about a different story?
I don't think Adrian would come back regardless. I think he was probably, I've been at Nebraska 4 years. He's already graduated. Yep. I think he felt this has been enough time for me at this university. It's either, go try my shot at the NFL or go to another school.
Where do you think he ends up?
Well, I think Fresno State's interesting because they just had their quarterback enter the transfer portal, and he's from Fresno. K-State is also an interesting option because their quarterback also graduated, Skylar Thompson, and his girlfriend's a soccer player at Kansas State.
See, that's the information that we don't have, Cristiano.
That's why we have Ethan on the show.
So those would be the two number one options. I think he can play just about anywhere in the country that doesn't already have an established starter. So I hope he ends up in a great spot that lets him shine, surrounds him with a good supporting cast, and he gets a chance to go at it at the next level.
I think, and you obviously made two very intriguing arguments for Fresno State being a local kid and K-State having his girlfriend there, but I think he's the type of quarterback that can step in at a top 10 or 15 program that's maybe lacking something like that and take them over the top. And I know it's an interesting comparison, but Jalen Hurts, when he left Alabama and went to Oklahoma, he was the quarterback at Alabama, took him to the national championship. Tua Tagovailoa takes over. He goes to Oklahoma and takes them to the playoff, if I recall. So, I think Adrian Martinez is that type of talent. And I think if you put really, really good players around him at a big time top 10 school, you might see him flourish even more.
I absolutely agree with you. I just don't know if that situation exists.
With the portal, you never know.
There are places that have the brand, the current high end respect, where they're a top 25 team. They just don't run the right offense, or they just aren't a fit with who Adrian is. So I don't know if that exact scenario exists right now.
Where's DP when we need him? I want DP's hot take
at the
on
basketball
this.
game.
He's at the basketball game. We don't want to talk about basketball. We want to talk about Cornhusker football.
They're not doing too hot.
He'll be here in about like 15 minutes.
Are they playing Michigan tonight?
They're playing Michigan.
What's the score of that game?
17-point game. Michigan lead.
It's not going well for the Huskers.
Make sure DP knows he's coming on for the last 10 minutes. We're talking this out.
Well, you mentioned Oklahoma. Spencer Rattler was a hilarious name. I got mentioned as possibly coming to Nebraska, and I was like, I don't think so. But
no, Spencer he's probably going to end up at. Is he going to go to USC? What's going to go on there? Obviously, the big move there with Lincoln Riley taking off, and then you've got the big shakeup at Notre Dame with their coach going
Ryan
on to
Kelly
to
having
LSU.
an accent at LSU.
Yeah,
That
what
is
was
awesome.
that? Like,
That's awesome. I
come
mean, that's
on.
crazy.
All of a sudden, you got a Southern accent.
There's a guy on Twitter who put, Ethan, did you see that video? He put a video together of like 2 days ago, he was addressing at Notre Dame and he said the word family. And then he was at LSU for his opening and he said family. And it's just.
Like, did he sit and
were
practice
you doing that
in
in
the
Amarillo?
mirror?
Were you doing that in Amarillo?
You know what? I even tried. I tried saying y'all.
Okay.
More in Amarillo, because that's a very Texas thing, and I got the y'alls down, but I could never get the fixin' in. Like, I'm fixing to go to the grocery store. Like, I couldn't do it, and when I said it, I sounded ridiculous. Everybody always thought I was from Canada, and anybody that's, I don't know, I'm from Ohio. Like, I don't have a Canadian accent, but apparently it's a hockey accent, which is interesting to me because I don't hear it, obviously. But a lot of people tell me that I have this Canadian accent, but it's not like I'm coaching a 3/4 of a Canadian hockey team. We might have 3 or 4 guys on the team every couple years, but that's it. So I never got the Texas Southern accent, so to speak, but I mixed a y'all in on Friday.
You did
during our interview.
We're going to have a y'all counter for the rest of the year, see where Rocky can take it. You're listening to Outside the Box. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A rather breezy Tuesday. South-southwest winds will be gusting 20 to 25 for much of the day. We'll try to relax this afternoon. We'll top out near 41 under partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies continuing tonight with a low dropping down to around 20. A bit of a warm-up tomorrow as we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high of 46. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with the COVID vaccine. Everyone, even kids 5 years and older, can get the vaccine too. If you've been vaccinated, now you can get your booster shot if you qualify. Stay strong, get vaccinated, and learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Every time we make the choice to drive, we're making a choice that could have life or death consequences. Friedman Law Offices has proudly sponsored our holiday taxi service for 30 years. This year, we're proud to partner with Z-Trip to keep Lincoln's streets safer. Between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. from December 15th to New Year's Day, you can get a free ride home if you've had too much to drink. Just call 402-474-SAFE or click Let Friedman Drive at friedmanlaw.com. Friedman Law Offices. Helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do.
Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Stars broadcaster Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And welcome back to Outside the Box. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo. And Rocky, we welcome in Stars goaltending and assistant coach Art Bry. Art, how you doing?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. We pronounce his last name right. It's been a battle trying to get your last name pronounced before home games at the Icebox. Is that always a common thing for you in your career, even as a player? You'd hear that flip-flop back and forth?
You know, it's a big thing for our family. It's kind of a family joke. No one ever gets our last name right. So for you to take the time and say it appropriately, I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've had multiple people announce my name Russo. So I feel your pain, Art. Like
Russo.
Yeah, Rocky Russo.
That's a tough one.
So, you know, let's make sure that we have proper pronunciations around here.
Oh my gosh. Art, how you doing? I mean, coming tonight, I really appreciate it because originally scheduled, Michael Mastro-Minico and Christian Kosis, they're at a Booster Club event. You help out in that regard all season long. You've done an excellent job with getting the players out in the community, making sure, you know, they behave themselves in that situation. We'll get to your coaching duties a little bit on the ice, but off the ice, what's it been like working with these guys and making sure, you know, they're great and active in the city of Lincoln?
It's been easy. I think, you know, this goes without saying, but we have such a great group of guys that trying to get them involved and doing extra things sometimes can be pulling teeth. But with our group of guys, they're so willing, they're so open, they're available, and they're just a great group of guys that can really do anything that I ask them to, in a sense. So getting them involved in the community, getting them to help out with the youth practices, things of that nature, it's been a blast.
And Rocky, there's some stuff that you want the guys to do a little bit more of. Are there any ideas that come to your mind right now?
You know what? Obviously, you know, I've talked to you and our front office staff about just being heavily involved in the community, serving our community, giving back to our community, and you know, we talked about the food bank and setting a trip up there, Habitat for Humanity. I'd love to get involved with what they do. You know, any opportunity that we have to show the community of Lincoln and the fans and the people that live here how much we want to support them and how much we want to give back to them. I'm all for it. And you know, Art kind of he wears many hats around here. He obviously coaches our goaltenders, but he's also a full-time assistant coach. He does some video and does some pre-scouts for us and helps to manage our billet program and helps to manage our community service stuff. And, you know, he's so invaluable to what we do. And so, you know, his ability to keep the guys in line and get them going has been really important for us.
Yeah, the guys are actually going to a school finally next week, Randolph Elementary School. It's the first time in 2 years that the guys are even allowed to go there. So it's going to be a really fun time. They love participating in like the floor hockey, the gym hockey. But we talk about now Art Bry, the coach. Let's talk about the player, Art Bry. You grew up in California. What made you, want to pursue this crazy sport?
I get that a lot For me, it was roller hockey. Roller hockey's big out in Southern California. So, my dad was driving down the freeway one day and saw a sign-ups. He asked me if I wanted to play at around 5 years old. I said yes. Never looked back. Transitioned to ice around 11 years old. Started playing goalie around 11 or 12 years old, and it's kind of allowed me opportunities that I didn't think I would have. So for me, it's all that I know, and I love the game so much.
You've got an LA Kings fan to your left, though. Does that change anything?
No, that's okay. That's okay. I grew up in Orange County, so definitely a Ducks fan. But no, half my family are Kings fans out in LA County. So we're okay for now. We're cool for now.
So Art, I actually already had Art's number in my phone when it was time to talk to him about the open assistant job here in in Lincoln, because of Amarillo. Because way back in the day, he was goalie partners with Colin Delia, playing for the Orange County midget major team at the time, and we had recruited Art a little bit. I'd called him about potentially playing in the North American League, and I also talked to Colin Delia, and Art found himself a home in the USHL. Colin Delia found himself a home in Amarillo, and those guys have been fast friends for a very long time. And so Colin, who has spent a significant amount of time with the Chicago Blackhawks, but I believe is in Rockford right now, Colin was the first one that I called when it was time to interview Art, and kind of said, tell me about Art Bry, and man, did he give a really, really good recommendation for Art. And there are few people in this world that I hold in higher regard from a character standpoint than Colin Delia. And for him to say the kind words that he did about Art made me feel really good about the interview that we had coming up. And obviously our GM, Nick Fabrizio, was really excited about potentially bringing Art on. And I think, Art can tell you himself, but I think it's been pretty great so far.
Yeah, it's been a blast, and to get that feedback from Deals. He's a dear friend of mine, so I was hoping he'd have some nice things to say. I didn't think they'd be that great, but the opportunity to even step in this position has been amazing for me. I just stepped away from the game probably back in 2020 with COVID. So for me to get back involved in the USHL, having played here, I want to say a dream come true, but it's definitely an opportunity that I didn't think would come about, and just super thankful for it.
You're listening to Outside the Box. Art Bry, Stars goaltending and assistant coach, on right now. When you get that call, Art, to join the Lincoln Stars coaching staff, you just mentioned you were just playing 2 years ago. You were on loan in the ECHL, if I remember correctly. Was that hard for you to officially close the door on a playing career at that point?
Yeah, I think it was one of those things that was incredibly challenging for me personally. Having grown up, been so heavily involved in hockey, to not have that identity anymore was challenging. It was really tough. So I try to stay involved. I coach locally, picking up private lessons, things of that nature, running my own goalie camps. But to now actually get involved with an organization and get involved with coaching staff, have the privilege of working with elite goaltenders here in Lincoln, it's been amazing. So yeah, it's been great.
And you weren't the worst goalie yourself. Sorry, Rocky, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just going to say, I know that Art is retired, but he might need to break his gear out with Caden and Barrico heading off to World Junior tryout next week, and Cameron Whitehead on the day-to-day injured list right now. We might have a Art Bry sighting in the net next week. You never know.
When was the last time you put the gear on?
Well, I stopped playing March of 2020, and I think I've strapped him up 3 times since then. It's one of those things that it's too challenging for me to get back out there. I put so much into it for me to go out there and it not have that same vibe to it. So, if the boys need me, I'll strap them up, but for now I'm going to keep them packed away.
It's funny, when I quit playing a lot longer ago than you did, I threw my bag in the corner and I did not touch the thing for years. And ironically, I had no interest. Now I started coaching right away. And so you get a different, I mean, you're now experiencing it. You get a different kind of fulfillment with being on the ice for practice every day. It's not the same as playing, obviously, but it kind of gets you, satisfies a different type of element. And that was enough for me. And then I would jump in and play some 3-on-3 with the guys or whatever and have some fun. And I probably have only played a handful of times since I stopped playing.
Yeah, the goaltending coach at the University of Illinois, my club college hockey team, David Heflin, we lost the national championship in the ACHA, and then that was obviously his last game as a senior, and he hated it. He never wanted to put on the gear again. It kind of reminded him of that situation. It was hard. So that feeling, I can't even imagine it because I didn't grow up playing. But when you have to slam that door shut, but you maneuvered into the situation you have now, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I have a lot more fun taking slap shots at our goalies than blocking them. So I'm definitely living it up on that end. So,
but you lived it up in the USHL too. 2 Clark Cups, 1 for the Dubuque Fighting Saints that included a 9-1 run for you in the playoffs. When you were at that point of your playing career, was there anything better than that?
No, I definitely think I can remember that like yesterday. I remember those games. I remember that run, and I remember just my time spent in the league. So. For me to know how invaluable these developmental years are as a player, I think that really, really helped me step into this role and really have a voice in a sense of knowing what the players need and knowing what they're looking for. Sometimes when you're out of the game for a while, you kind of lose touch with that. So for me, having just stepped out of the game, kind of have that connection with the players. So, yeah, I definitely had a great time playing in Dubuque, had a great time playing in Sioux Falls, but I'm definitely happy here to be here in Lincoln.
Do you enjoy beating Fargo a little more now as a coach as they come up on the schedule the next 2 games? Because it was game 3, the overtime goal in Fargo, your first Clark Cup. What was that moment like in 2013?
2013, Frankie DiChiara. I think he's playing in the ECHL.
I recruited
right
Frankie DiChiara to St. Louis as well. What a great kid.
He was an all guy. Yeah. Great guy, great family. So, I definitely think stepping into that building with Fargo has been great, and obviously getting the 2 points against them is huge. So, just great memories.
But there was never a chance you were going to go in 2014 to the Rio Grande Killer Bees, whatever they were.
Joe Coombs.
Coomsy.
Did you sign a tender that year?
No. So they drafted me.
Yeah.
So the situation there was in Sioux Falls, we had 2 overager goalies. And so we had 3 guys coming into the year, and we knew one of them was going to get canned. So if you take a look, you see David Jacobson, pretty sure also drafted by Joe Coombs. So he was a betting man, took both of us, and figured hopefully he can get one of us.
Just a short 12-hour drive from Amarillo to Hidalgo, Texas.
Yeah, I was gone. So we both won championships in 2013. I won one in Amarillo that year, and then I left to go to Philly in 14, and that's when Rio Grande came in the league. They had moved around. I think they were in New Mexico, and then moved down to Rio Grande. And then, ironically enough, while I was in Philly, they moved from Rio Grande to Aston, and I became the director of player personnel for them and helped them with the transition from Rio Grande to Aston, where they became the Aston Rebels. So the 6 degrees of separation there is pretty interesting.
We got to have a new segment on the show, 6 Degrees of Rocky. We're going to find
the hockey world is very small. That would not take too long for us to connect the dots on some pretty cool stories.
Art, what's been your favorite part of coaching so far this season?
Honestly, I'm a big relationship guy. So for me, getting to know the individual players has been the best part about this. We have a diverse group, and to get to know the individuals in more than just a hockey identity setting has probably been the greatest aspect for me. Because being a former athlete, I definitely have that understanding that there's different roles guys play, right? And how people relate to those roles and how they accept those roles is sometimes can be tough. So for me, getting to know each individual player, getting to know about their family, their interests, what they want to study in school, things of that nature. I find it sweet. Yeah, it's cool.
We'll be back in a couple more minutes with Art Bry. You are listening to Outside the Box.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
A rather breezy Tuesday. South-southwest winds will be gusting 20 to 25 for much of the day. We'll try to relax this afternoon. We'll top out near 41 under partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies continuing tonight with a low dropping down to around 20. A bit of a warm-up tomorrow as we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high of 46. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season.
I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show.
So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win?
Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience.
Get your win, too, by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Every time we make the choice to drive, we're making a choice that could have life or death consequences. Friedman Law Offices has proudly sponsored our holiday taxi service for 30 years. This year, we're proud to partner with Z-Trip to keep Lincoln's streets safer. Between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. from December 15th to New Year's Day, you can get a free ride home if you've had too much to drink. Just call 402-474-SAFE or click Let Friedman Drive at friedmanlaw.com. Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do.
Back to Outside the Box with Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Segment number 3 on Outside the Box. One last call for our trivia question on the night. Who was the last Lincoln Stars player to score a hat trick at the Icebox? The winner that we choose will receive a 4-pack for one of this weekend's games. Text 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. And we also have to get to today's sponsor of the show, brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Rick Mitchener. When it comes to insurance, all you need to remember is Rick Mitchener. He's your local Farm Bureau financial services agent and can be your one agent for life, auto, home, farm and ranch, and business insurance. Rick Mitchener in Lincoln. It's your future. Let's protect it. And Art, you handle the goaltenders who protect that last line of defense. You see that little transition there? You got Caden Mbarico, Cameron Whitehead, Jackson Baker. Two of those three, the older guys have been getting the time. Two of the top 10 goaltenders in the league. So what has that been like, learning from them as well and teaching them at the same time, you being a first-year coach?
Incredibly fortunate to having walked into 2 elite goaltenders. Obviously, they have a long way to go in terms of their personal journeys and their development, but something that they both have in common is their willingness to want to get better. I think they come in every day and having our morning conversations, right? Like they come in with a plan to get better every day, and they want that. So it's been a blast coming out on the ice. And even Baker, unfortunately he's not getting the ice time, but he's no different, right? He comes out there and he's asking questions, and he's engaged, and he's listening, and he's asking, for feedback and things of that nature. So, it makes my job really easy, right? When these guys are their own best coach, and not only that, but they have a great relationship. They get along really well. They have conversations on the ice, and during our goalie skates, right? Sometimes I just sit back and let them hash things out. So I think that's definitely a sign of a great goaltender is being your best coach. So having the little goalie nation that we have here in Lincoln, it's been a blast.
And we haven't had a goaltender or two like this. No disrespect to Aiden McCarthy, Ryan Ouellette, Jake Musatelli before them, but when you have goaltenders that can steal you games on a night-to-night basis, which, Rocky, I know you don't really like to see out of your goaltenders. You'd rather have them, making 17, 18 saves a night. But for you as a head coach, knowing that you can maybe push your forwards a little bit more, knowing you've got the security blanket back there, what has that been like?
Obviously, goaltending wins championships, and the guys that we have been unbelievable thus far. Cameron obviously has been special. Caden has been just as good in his own right, and so those guys do give us a chance to win every night that they step into the crease, and our guys know that if they make a mistake, those two guys will come up big, and they'll find ways to hold us in, and in the first period on Friday or Saturday we weren't great. And even though he gave up 3, he was unbelievable. My apologies, Caden was. And then, we got back for him, and we had 24 shots on net in the second period. And I felt like Cameron was in a tough spot there in his first game back after injury. But, how many times has he been lights out this year and just found a way every night? And then obviously Friday, we weren't great in the first and for the first part of the second. And, that game could have got away from us, but Caden was exceptional and held us in long enough for us to get our footing and then obviously take the game over.
So any winners on that text line so far, Ethan?
Yes, Joe, and he'd like to say that his name is not Turd Ferguson, even though it's in there as Turd Ferguson. Joe got the question right. It was Zach Erdahl.
There you go. So, Joe, a 4-pack of tickets to one of this weekend's games.
Big teddy bear toss night on Saturday, right?
Huge. And the first goal that Lincoln scores on Saturday, hope they get it out of the way quickly. All those teddy bears and stuffed animals raining down. They will be donated to the community action of Lancaster and Saunders counties, thanks to our friends at 104.1 KIBZ, The Blaze. Have you had those nights in Amarillo, Rocky, those teddy bear toss nights?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been a part of many teddy bear toss nights. I was a part of, I'll just go ahead and tell you my worst experience ever as a coach was in my first year back in Amarillo as the head coach. We did not have a very good team, and the Shreveport Mudbugs were the best team in the league, and we got shut out on teddy bear toss night. We were down 4-0 with a minute and a half left, and we got a power play, and I actually called timeout and pulled the goalie in an attempt to try to score because I was that embarrassed by the fact that we had not scored a goal. So, I always breathe a sigh of relief after the puck goes in the net on that first one just to get it out of the way. But it's obviously a great event and really exciting for our fans, and certainly the donation of all those bears and toys goes to a great cause. So I'm looking forward to a very special night on Saturday.
Not to completely sidetrack the conversation, did you see Sergei Fedorov, the head coach of CSKA Moscow, pull the goalie in 3-on-3 overtime, and it worked 2 nights in a row?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like in our league, if you pull the goalie and then they score the empty netter, you lose the extra point. And I don't know what that rule is, obviously, in KHL. But if we didn't lose the guaranteed point, I'd have my goalie out right to start. Why not play 4-on-3 and try to take advantage of it? But the points are so valuable. It's not whose line is it anyway here. The points matter, and so I'm certainly not in a position to give one up when we have one in our pocket.
Back to the teddy bear toss conversation. Art, have you been on the receiving end as a goaltender?
Yeah, not fun when you let up that goal and then rain teddy bears on you. So I definitely think that I've been on the other end too, where I've shut the door and late in the third, and then the other team just hits the 3-minute mark and they just start raining teddy bears. But like you were saying, hopefully we get it out of the way early and to see all the teddy bears come over the fences or the boards and see the guys pushing around. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's a really cool experience.
I think if you play in the South Division of the North American Hockey League, the teddy bear toss is no big deal because every time you get scored on in one of those buildings, they just throw stuff at you. And, in Amarillo, you give one up and you get pelted by 500 Bulls balls. So I think the teddy bears are welcome compared to, like you go to Shreveport and they've got hard plastic crawfish that hit you and give you concussion. So, the teddy bears are at least nice and soft and gentle.
Art, thank you so much for joining the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Won't be the last time that Art joins us here with Outside the Box. Obviously, my name's on the title, but I'm not going to be here every week. And I think Art, and you'll see George Lewis join us at times. We might even get Corey Courtney involved. He's the unofficial mayor of Lincoln, Nebraska, and our equipment manager and athletic trainer. And so I suspect you'll hear from these guys a lot as the year goes on.
Always love to hear his Nebraska football takes. All right, Friday night against Fargo. Saturday night, teddy bear toss night against Fargo. We'll see you at the Icebox this weekend, and we'll see you next Tuesday on Outside the Box.